Hey, this is JP Craddock with the question of the day. And today we're going to talk about witchcraft. Um, Here's the question. Okay, I met a great guy and have been dating him for a few weeks. He recently told me that he practices Wicca, which is some type of witchcraft. I'm a Christian and I don't do dark practices. How can I break this off gently? Okay, I'm actually really happy to get this question. Usually, I choose questions that are not appropriate for the radio show. I actually tried to talk about witchcraft on the radio show, but my co host, Stacy D, who is also a Christian, literally covered her ears and said, da 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 da. She wasn't hearing it, okay? So I have not been able to address this on the radio show. Happy to address it here. Here's the deal. I don't think you should break it off. One, witches do exist. For those who are surprised, like witchcraft, yes, witches do exist. And there are men who practice witchcraft also. So I know that's probably a bit of a shocker to some of you. I have seen some witches in therapy. Not all Wicca is dark practices or dark magic or anything like that. There are so many different forms of Wicca, and there are forms of Wicca that are purely like agricultural, that practitioners are required to harvest crops and store away their wool things in cedar chests for the winter, like really agricultural. Okay, with no dark practices or dark magic involved. So do not assume that a person who's practicing Wicca is practicing some type of dark, evil, whatever the case may be. What I suggest is that you have a conversation with him and ask, like, what type of Wicca are you practicing, and then do research to see if it's dark or not. The first witch that I saw in therapy was someone who was court ordered who had a drug addiction. He told me he practiced Wicca. I, at that time, had never heard of Wicca and didn't know that witches existed. I did my research after the first session and found out that he was practicing a type of Wicca that did not allow drug use at all, drugs or alcohol. That information came in so damn handy with him, because when we had that second session and I let him know that he was a bad witch, he wasn't being a good witch because he was high and he was practicing a form of Wicca where you're not supposed to be using any drugs. Your system is supposed to be pure. He didn't like that. I thought it was kind of hilarious, actually, that, he thought he knew about his witchcraft and he didn't. It was a teenager. He was like 17 years old. So to say all that, this is a great question. Please have a conversation with him, talk to him about this, and then make your decision. Now, if he's doing dark practices and it's evil or whatever, then by all means, you don't have to worry about breaking it off gently. Just say, ooh, I'm not going to be able to do it. I ain't going to be able to do it, and be done. All right. Thanks for your question.